I must be allowed. Hi everyone, welcome to the stream. I chapel checked and my microphone is happening, so that's fun. Um, Welcome to the stream. It is Thursday, which is kind of a random stream day. It is earlier in the day than I would usually stream. But other when it's not, peak. But later in the stream later in the day I usually stream during peak. My reasoning for this, um, you um, my reasoning for this is actually that I had a lot of stuff I needed to do today that I didn't get done. But I got it done now. So, I actually did manage to get all sorts of administrative stuff done. So, point one for adulting. Um, and yes, it did get started a little late, but I still managed to get all the adulty stuff done. I wrote a Hanukkah card for my little nieces, and then hopefully gonna get there before the 8th tonight. I paid the bill thing that I need to get sent out so that I have internet, and also I don't get another late fee charge, and I got groceries, and I made myself really yummy food. So I did also I like actually cooked food. Like I've been adulting today. On the other hand, yeah. So we're gonna have a stream. So I figure an hour stream. And then around that will give me enough time to stop by the post box on my way to work, which I have to leave for work early because it is late in the day and life is sad like that. But on the other hand, space thing, the steampunk space game. Um, yes. Let me do the what's it. So, on Tuesday, I didn't know what I was doing stream wise, so I basically just did um, uh, um, what did I do? Oh, yes. Yes, so basically what I did was I said, haha, I will go and have shenanigans. Oh, right, so I was going like, hey, let's look through my random files of cool TTRPG stuff that I never play that I managed to get my hands on one way or another and actually like look at it because a lot of it's just really fun and I never got a chance. I think I spent months going over Arcana because I just found it during one of these random searching streams and thought it was really cool. So we spent Sundays doing that for a while. But in any case, it's a lot of fun. Space. This one is Space 1889. I got a supplement for it because it seemed really cool, and I backed it on Kickstarter. And you know what? It is really cool, and I am glad that I threw money toward it. And it even has its own little. If you look below, um, what's it? I'm not sure if that's the actually Space 1889 is the same one as this. It might be a variant version, but I also put up the Rogue Trader video game version when I do Rogue Trader TTRPG. So it's thematically similar. I think anyone who goes specifically searching for Space 1889 streams will enjoy coming and hanging out with me, talking about how cool this after. Oh, it's after Aether. The Aethra. Yes, Aethra is the asteroid thing from the super advanced aliens that have the supercomputer who runs the whole thing and several mechanical AIs that can communicate with it, and also the alien people who you can interface with, and we were going through all of the different varied paths, and then I had to go to work. So let me check something because I know there's usually an ad break. Apparently, it's being okay. Let me try one thing because usually it'll tell me if they because I have an automatic ad, and apparently it's not doing. So apparently we don't have ads, which I guess is good. Um, kind of throws off my plan, but that's okay. I still appreciate it. So, oh yeah, see, they're gonna have an ad break. It is there. It's just Twitch isn't showing me, but OBS is because OBS is connected to Twitch because nonsense. There we go. Yes, it is showing on Twitch now. Okay, that's fine. They always have one within 5 minutes of starting the stream. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to go onto my own Discord. I'm going to post that I'm streaming, which I should probably do that before I start streaming, but Um, uh, and then I'm going to go take. Remember, I mentioned I was cooking actual real food. That needs to come out of the oven. So that's gonna be fun. I'm gonna do that, and then we can go and poke, see where we're poking through on this. Um, 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 okay, give me a second to go take that out of the oven, and then we'll be back and we'll do fun things. Uh, face thing. I can do them. Boom. Okay, I'm back. Yep, that I wasted half of it doing the other thing, but hey, I'm back. Hopefully the ads weren't too terrible, and we can poke around at this. So, let me see this. So space is all right. I'm gonna go. We're gonna in 20 minutes. That'll be okay. Yeah. Let's start with at exactly one. We're gonna do another break. I think even if there's not an ad break officially, I'm gonna run a 1 minute and then. But let's poke around for this for a while. That'll keep pre rolls off for anyone who wants to come in randomly and join us, which is fun, and give me a chance to fix the whatchamajig, um, which is an important thing. So, let me. What was I gonna say? Oh yes. Um. Uh. I had a plan and everything. Oh, space game, right? Space stuff. Space. Let's actually do space stuff. Um. Let's see. Today. So this is the space game that we have. So you're going. All right. Um. Okay. So we went through. So there's automaton pirates. So you can go through the boneyard and then the tunnels. That's okay. I'm gonna poke this open a little bit so I can see, and then go column by column. I think that's better. Easier for me, easier for you guys to see on screen. I'll kind of adjust a little bit to make it easier. But you can see more of my face. Maybe we'll see. All right, airlock access interior comes from the back of the boneyard. Okay, so automatons. There's the Trailblazer that crashed. That's hints about how dangerous this is. There's I have two different beverages going. One of them actually is tea today, by the way. It's 100,000 pounds of. Oh, I see, a treasure. So that's a unit of measurement. Is 100,000 pounds worth of whatever it is, a treasure worth. Oh, okay, I see. Gold and precious metals, ether suits, random assortments of weapons, ammunition, and scarce chemical components. Um, and then the GM is in charge of deciding what the party might want or need in terms of, and then putting that in there, um, or not. That's the kind of basis a GM is. When you have parties find random things, you tend to put things in that you think they might want later, to kind of, yeah, as like a breadcrumbs. And each party is slightly different in what they can and can't do. So you tend, or what they do and don't have. So you that's part of being a GM, is poking, putting bits and bobs, for your things. All right. Yes, so they have these gelatin membranes that you can shove your way through, but air can't get through, which is how you do airlocks, which seems kind of gross, but it's a vibe. Yes, so they have those Super Bolt, and so that's the ship, and then they have these pirate crew, and then they have things the unit. Okay, so they have the things where if it's one, if you just have one, you can do it takes a shot, and then if you want to have them all on the same turn, you can have them make one shot per sit in per however many are left in the group, or you can do a volley, which is just a concentrated area fire if you have more than half of them still, which means you need at least three, I think, because they come in packs of 5. Right? Yeah, because 60 um, hit points, 12 with Brett, so that's for each, so it's packs of 5. The observatory. So then you go, okay, Cenoate chambers, right? So the little alien guys who live on the ship who work for the supercomputer doing maintenance tasks, and yes, so they are perform tasks that machines aren't suited for. In exchange, the sovereign allows them to exist. More membranes, glowing crystals, and thick farms of the strange fungus. Right, the fungus that doesn't need light, and it doesn't need a whole lot of stuff because it pulls energy directly from the aether to grow, which means that you can tap this previously uncharted energy source for nutrients, which is kind of cool. Yes. Uh, Drysagor. Yes. Adapted to speak the Coline language the observer prefers. That's the one. Okay. And the more difficult machine code, Sovereign 1 rumbles out. So they have their own language, presumably, but Drysagor is the one who can speak to the machines and everything. Doesn't like being under them, but sees no other alternative, at least until the crew arrive on the scene. I think they used she, her for Drysagor at some point, but we'll see. Um, um, Convince her, yes. So uses she, her. I mean, as an alien, I don't know. They probably have whole context of gender, but uses she. All right. Allergy enemies. The chambers are filled with extraordinary fungus cultivated by the Cenoates. The fungus produces oxygen, moisture, and nutrients from seemingly nothing. Could be a valuable discovery for any botanists in the group. Right, and it's because of the ether we. It says. Warmer and more humid than tunnels and other chambers. Okay. Yeah, the place where they live are warmer and humid because they grow the um, fungus there, and it produces moisture, actually. A few dozen Cenoates are concentrated in the area and led by the envoy named Drysagor. Contact for details about potential encounters and her motivations. Okay. The deepest levels of the tunnel open to a massive open chamber filled with whirring pistons and spinning gears. This is the real steampunk thing with the factory with the. This is the geek steampunk aesthetic. The entire level is complex automaton factory powered by some unknown energy source, perhaps the atom itself. Ooh, it's nuclear powered. Controlled by the intelligence that calls itself sovereign. Yes, this is the all activity of the Marauders is designed to bring raw materials here for the factory to convert into more machines than the sovereign's bidding. The Marauders are the pirates are running around. That's a thing. They have a ship that you can encounter and that go out and destroy stuff. And they scrap ships that come in, like the Trailblazer. Um, normally, production of new mechanical men is slow and methodical, but once the intruders arrive on the scene, the mechanisms accelerate to a friendly pace to churn out new soldiers. All right, so they're ramping up production. The else out here is an ancient Phaeton death machine. Sovereign speaks through this shell, but its mechanical mind is part of the factory itself. For more about the confrontation and its potential results, see Cruel Mind. Okay. The lowest chamber is a massive cavern filled with dangerous automated machinery. Sovereign is the machinery itself. It speaks through death machine. Okay. Controls like a death machine is like a body and interface that can probably kill. I mean, it says death machine, right? Sorry. If I'm going too quickly or you need me to slow down or you want me to go back or you want more details from the first part that we went over on Tuesday, but if you weren't here on Tuesday and you're like, wait, what's this whole deal? Let me know. I'm just reading it through because I'm finding it quite interesting and I'm going to share it with you guys. But if you, that means that it's two-way. So if you happen to be watching and you can put yourself in chat. That means if you have questions like about stuff, or you think I'm mispronouncing Cenoates, maybe, I don't know, or know more about Space 1889 and I'm missing some key component because this is my first exposure to the lore of the universe, let me know. I'm interested in hearing it, honestly. You don't have to talk and chat, honestly. If you just want to lurk and hang out, that's perfectly fine. I'll do. Oh, we have one viewer. Okay. So, someone's popping around, which, hi, welcome. Um, yeah, that's the thing. Sometimes I have a coverage people come and hang out, sometimes we don't. And that's okay. You know, it'll be up on YouTube later, probably, as long as it doesn't get. Twitch constantly deletes all of my streams, and I am constantly scrambling behind to upload them to YouTube, but I do them in batches and I often forget. So it probably will go up on YouTube at some point, um, as one of unnumbered opportunity with Leap ones. But if you're ever bored and want to hang out with, feel like you're hanging out with me, you can't answer questions live in chat if you go to the YouTube ones. But I will say it does have archives, and eventually I will get around to archiving them. Uh, that's also where the Rogue Trader playlist is, and that one's an actual, like, all of the, there's playlists that are all of the actual, like, fun live action, like, actual plays that are more exciting and narrative driven, and not me, just me babbling about cool stuff, which is 90% of what streams are. Also, I did say I was Lee, right? That's what I usually say at the beginning of the stream, and that I'm not a woman. I think that's less important now than it used to be. I might have to start saying I'm not a man, honestly. I pass pretty well. It's not, it's closer to the truth, but non-binary nonsense. Gotta love it. Okay. Um, but yeah. Um, boom. Yes. Um, um, okay. Um, okay. Nope, that's bad. Um, 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 okay. Cool. Um, um, okay. Sorry about that. Um, okay. So there is, I like these little summary bits, I will say. It's well, as well, like, this is like the main points. So, um, and they have outlines the other sections that you might want to go to, and then they probably have a table of contents. So if you're like, oh, that's the one. But yeah, the yes, they have the things. If the crew sits down at the boneyard to dock and delve deeper into Aethra, they must face a force of automatons. Yeah, because it's a multi-path thing, it's a little wonky in the order. So if they go into the boneyard, they can kind of go in through the other tunnels and meet these guys. They can go into the boneyard, but they have to fight the Superbolt and the Ripper. Okay, let's see. Which work in the area. These robots are purpose built by Sovereign to cannibalize any ship the Superbolt shoots down or any vessel towed here by one of the other pirate flyers, like the Ripper. Right, the Ripper's the one they follow. That's the pirate ship that they follow as part of how to get your party to go to this asteroid. One of them is they follow the pirate ship there. The other one is the Explorator Society. Sir Armstrong, I want to say, sends them a telegram saying there's a weird asteroid that would be really cool and we want you to go explore it. And also, there are pirates. Be careful. Essentially. See, I don't know. See, I don't even need an AI assistant because they already summarized them for me because that's fun. Also, a fun fact that youth might not know is that if you have to read a book for school and you want to not have to read the whole thing or want like plain English version, which is like you really should read your if they assign you a text for school, they have a reason for it. You probably should read it yourself, but um, it's not a moral judgment if you want to cheat. Like you're uncheating yourself, and if you can't do it text wise, then it's better than nothing. But I will say they make copies instead of getting an AI to do it. Just go and you can buy SparkNotes version. There's like so many people that are actual people made. Like this is not a new thing. There are copies of SparkNote version or like plain text translations, Reader Digest. Like that used to be before they started doing. It used to be the thing. They would make short form versions of longer books with plainer text. Like you can go and get human made shortenings. You don't need to go to AI for that. They exist. Just get the human made ones. They'll actually have the context. Hello, hello, welcome Clockrocket. Doing more space exploration stuff because it's fun. And they have the little chunks at the end of the segments, and I'm like, it reminded me of Spark Notes. And because the hang on, having stuff with sugar in it, you swirl it to get the sugar to stop settling at the bottom, and then it comes out of the what's it. Luckily, it didn't spill too bad. But what I was saying was, Spark Notes exist, and because they offered me an AI summary of this, and I'm like, well, they already put summaries at the end of every like section for handy dandy DM notes, and also it reminded me of Spark Notes and how, if you have a book that you're supposed to read and you really don't actually want to read it, you can get a Spark Notes version that has all the key points summarized, and you can just get a Spark Note. You don't have to rely on AI. People do it. They exist, and all the classics that they assign for English class because they're formative and they've determined that analyzing them is good for learning how to do stuff with it. All of them have Spark Notes available, so you know. Um, what was I gonna say? Oh yes, the Boneyard, right? Because the Superbolt and the Ripper. So those are the ships. I don't know if you were here on Tuesday, but we did the whole. This is the fun space game, and was going through it. And this one has the pirate ship and the other ship that shoots down ships that are coming to this giant asteroid. Um, you know, thing. Yeah, so these are the ones that break our salvage machines. So if you go into the boneyard, which is where the um, exactly, I am trying not to use AI because I know the resources takes to run it and it's stupid, but and how it plagiarizes stuff. But I am kind of curious if it actually can do a good job, because the thing about that is, the thing about AI is if you build a computer program to read a text and summarize it, like you could probably come up with a decent program that would do a decent job of that. Or like that's the question. When they say AI, do they mean a computer program that is programmed to poke through texts? And I don't know if it would be good as getting a human to read it and tell you what it's about, but it would probably do a decent job. Or is it an LLM? Because an LLM that's because LLMs, but like LLM. The thing about LLM, sorry, I know we're getting derailed about cool space stuff, but I just want to point out something. LLMs are not really artificial intelligence as such, and B, everything that they are making LLM, 90% of it, you would do so much better if you had a custom programmed software to do it. Like uh, Google search AI summaries. They used to just have a little program that scraped Wikipedia, and it was 90% of the time was more effective than the AI. Like AI, and it never was, and it didn't ever give you anything patently false, which sometimes it does. It didn't ever give you anything false. Uh, in so much as Wikipedia is wrong, but you know, they already had a program that did that. With the new AI, Siri, like everything they put it into, it just gets worse because they already had programs that did that. Because funny story, people have been running computer programs to do things like that for decades. And the fact that LLMs are the shiny new thing, okay, but they don't work as well as any of the custom built stuff that already exists. Sorry, it's just like if you want to build, if you want a computer to do it for you, build a custom AI that, you know, like there are some great programs that do really good work and are helpful for medical research and stuff, but they are all specify coded. Okay, oh, sorry. I got completely derailed about the AI and summaries on Adobe, which is blech. And, um, which is really not good for a cool PDF like this, because the details are the fun part. Um, and there was going to be a battle at the Boneyard with the little automatons. So here, and I said I was going to do a thing. So here's what we're going to do. I'm going to run a 1 minute ad. The reasoning being that it keeps the pre-roll off for longer. Um, if I, the more I run ads, the more the pre-roll off, and I had, this is the lowest automatic setting, but unlike the other automatic setting, it runs shorter ads, but it doesn't, what is it the one it does? Oh yeah, it doesn't actually do thingamabob. It doesn't keep the pre-roll off all the way it does with the slightly longer one. And so I'm going to run a thing and check on something in the kitchen. Then we will come back and I will actually not do AI summary. I will stop ranting about LLMs and how they are disingenuous and terrible, and we'll go and figure out what the deal with the Battle of the Boneyard is. I think that seems good, because I need to not rant about those so much. Yes, pre-roll ads are on. Exactly. Exactly. Yep. Perfect timing. Okay. Give me 1 minute. Um, it should work. Yep. And I'll give you added feedback. Okay. All right. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. I'm back. Hello. 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 Cool. Welcome back. Okay. Friend. Okay. Yeah. Very exciting stuff. Let me put a timer for 10 minutes. Um, because there was a thing I had to do. So I'm going to set a timer for 10 minutes. And then we're going to go and actually do, no, maybe 11. Okay, we're going to set a timer for 11 minutes. And I'm going to breathe. And we're going to go and do fun stuff. Like, okay, Battle of the Boneyard. So the crew, if you have a crew, I also have, um, I made green bean casserole because, I could. Okay, a crew. So, Battle of the Boneyard. So the crew, this is kind of the, what happens in the tunnel is if you go in through a secondary, there's this, and they described what happens when you meet the, Xehanort, the creatures, the people who live inside, really. They have an emissary who actually can speak Coline, and I believe can speak English too. Or, I'm sure if Coline is a common language, I'm sure sometime one of your party might speak it. You'll find some other translation method. But, oh yes, so, the machines. So, you go down, if you go down and land on the Boneyard, what happens is you see them ripping up the Trailblazer, and you see, um, the stuff the pirates are bringing around, and you have these scavenger machines that strip the ships that crash in there for parts or get destroyed by the marauders, also for parts. Um, yes, one group enters the main docking tunnels from inside Izana, but more dangerous groups lurk in the ether outside. Okay, so automaton scavengers, unit of 5, attack inside the docking tunnel and airlock. Risk. The area is cramped and carries a risk beyond normal microgravity. Each turn, PCs must choose to use any 2 of movement, bonus action, and action, but cannot use all 3 on that turn. Because of everything's interesting. That is a... Well, I guess, yeah, if you screw up in the docking bay, yeah, it is bad. So I think that's actually interesting. Alright, these are the automaton pirates. Just want to see this. The marauders. The Super Bolt's the ship. I guess the stat sheets are probably down somewhere for the marauder units. Yes. Okay, hang on. Let me check something. That's the kind of chambers. Okay, this is the Battle Boneyard. Automaton Scavengers, so there's a different statute for them. Unit of 5. Okay. After the first exchange, the crew hear the clanging of feet of more automaton scavengers. At the beginning of each round of combat, roll a d6. On a 1 or 2, a new unit, half strength automaton scavengers arrive from a random entrance. Ooh, they have backup coming in from behind. That is kind of cool. And it's randomized. See, as a DM, usually if I have the enemy they're fighting has backup coming in from behind, I don't do it necessarily randomly, but it is a way to do it. And actually, so you can roll for how long it would take them and then keep track. But rolling it like this is when they show up when the dice say they do, which I think is kind of fun. Because you don't know if you roll it like roll for how long it takes them to get there. And then you only roll once, so you know. And as a DM, you know, your players don't. This one, I wonder if I guess it's up to DM and Scott whether you tell the play. Well, you can't tell them that the other guys are coming. You might give them a perception check to see if they can hear, like, or that they think of it. That might be it. Interesting. Okay. Arrives from random entrance. The unit goes its entire turn to enter the scene and does not enter initiative order until the next round. This continues until 6 half strength units or the end of combat round begins with no automatons left standing, and the DM. Okay, so if you defeat all of them and there's no new ones coming in, then you're square. If you have 6 is the maximum that show up. That is interesting. So yeah, every turn, each round you roll a d6, and on a 1 or 2, backup shows up. And there's X amount of backup, and you just keep rolling for it, and if you manage to defeat all of them, you're fine. If you don't, there's a chance a backup comes through, and there's a max number as opposed to just a set number. That is interesting. Fighting outside carries additional danger at the end of each turn. Okay, so if you fight inside the airlock, you hit the automaton scavengers, and you can only do 2 movement, bonus action. You can only do 2 of those every turn because it's otherwise you have to be careful about. That's kind of something like being careful about that. Okay, so at the end of each turn, PCs must succeed on a d6 saving throw or drift away in the micro. Oh, right, because it's outer space. They don't have gravity, so there's an atmosphere inside. They have those gelatin. Yeah, okay, so there's no atmosphere. It's microgravity with no atmosphere. That is, and they have ether suits. So presumably that's some sort of suit. So, PCs have suits, so that's fine. But yeah, fighting on microgravity is pain in the ass. I know in that's one of the warp table of things that can go wrong in the warp is the ship's gravity can go janky, and then you have to be stuck in microgravity. And if you have a certain background, you don't have to make checks to do anything. If you don't, you have to make a not dexterity, but whatever 5. That's in Rogue Trader, but yeah. because microgravity is tricky. So this one, it's a DC 12 saving throw at the end of each turn. Um, so at the end of your turn, you have to figure it out. And if you don't, you are, unless secured by a line or some other means, they drift out of sight at the end of the next round. Um, Anyone lost in space this way must roll intelligence saving throw. On a 15 or higher, the castaway manages to use debris or improvised thrust to get back to the asteroid and find a different entrance to tunnels. On a, okay. Oh, it's okay, 6 through 9, they make no progress. 1 through 5, they disappear forever. Oh, okay. So as a 1 through 5, you're just drifting and you cannot stop and you're just out there. So then the crew has to go rescue you. On a 9 through 5, you manage to stay where like close, but you're still that. And then on a, if you roll, so yeah, you manage to keep your like defray momentum a little bit, that you have a chance of getting back. And if you can get a 15, you can manage to figure out some way of getting back toward, changing back where you want to go. But then out of sight at the end of their next round, of the next round. So yeah, you roll at the end of your turn, which means that, and then you know if you failed or not at the end of the next round. So you basically, that gives you an entire round to get one of your teammates to, or other party members to grab you, or you're still within that. And that's an interesting question. So yeah, end of the next round. So you have one turn that you're flying outward, but you're still close enough to actually affect combat and stuff if you can figure something out directly. That'll push you back toward it, and you can only use. Oh no, the fighting inside is only action, bonus action, movement. You can only use 2 of them. Fighting outside, you have this nonsense, and you can lose the thing because it's microgravity. If you hit off wrong, you can go into space. That is kind of cool. I might steal that if you guys ever have to do EVAs for Rogue Trader, because that is cool. All right, opportunities. Once the automaton scavenger is dealt with, the crew has access to the materials in the area. So you get DC 10 investigation check. I really, really like that they just say investigation check and not like check intelligence investigation check. It's an investigation check. Just call it what it is. Because freaking sorry. That's one of my pet peeves with a lot of 5e modules is that they have that what's the word? Syntax of doing checks. And I'm just like, no, skill checks, you just list the skill. And actually, because they're variant rules that you can use other abilities for the skills, then yeah, it makes sense to list just the skills. Because that's variant rules. I don't think there's anything investigation would ever be anything other than intelligence. I could make a case for dexterity, but for stuff, there are other things where, yes, it makes sense to use that skill, but if you have proficiency, but a different ability check, or a different ability. Anyway, because this is a 5e adaptation of the Space 1889 setup. There's Space 1889. I think if I recall correctly, when I backed on Kickstarter, I got both versions. 5e adaptation version and of the adventure, and the version made for either the native system or another role-playing system. So some of the stuff is, this kind of check, like, you're very clearly meant to do other Space 1899 stuff as how to find this, and some of this is, but it is based for 5e, and the stats are set as 5e setup. Which, so, that's what this, is. Okay, Trailblazer. Okay, so this is the one, the junk ship that they were cutting up. In addition to the plethora of wreckage, one of the ships in the Boneyard is nearly completely intact. The unit of automaton scourger was stripping it when the crew arrived. They are a group which attacks from outside, or they are still at work here if the intruders manage to approach in secret. Stealth checks. Trailblazer is a Gossamer Wing class ether flyer. Space 89 and after. Okay. This is a particular supplement that this is meant to be a connection to, and I think that's the one I backed, and then this was an extra adventure that got a stretch goal, if I remember correctly. But that is, okay, for no difference, for Gossamer Wing class. The Power, Grapnel, and Conservatory are both wrecked, with every ship... Yes, see. Okay. With every, yes. And every ship system is half damaged. Importantly, the ship's airtight seals are still intact, and the rip sail is still working, so the ship is viable, if slow, means of escape if the crew's own vessel was destroyed. And it still has air and 2 weeks of supplies. That's pretty cool. Give me um, 30 seconds. I'm not even going to run an ad, I think, but if you would give me 30 seconds to fix a thing. Um, okay. Sorry about that. Boom. Uh, boom. I'm back. Hello, hello. That is. Remember what I said at the beginning of the stream? I was doing real honest to goodness cooking. This is part of that. And I will set another timer, and then by that point it'll be near the end of the stream. And um, also running an ad directly, apparently, and that the automatic timer was shoved up. Mm. So let me. Oh yes, our cool ether. I know I got kind of sidetracked, so we didn't actually make progress. But I think I've been kind of. Hopefully, it's been fun and entertaining to have me babble about it at least a little bit. I'm probably gonna do more streams on this because this is fun. At least I think so. Actually, if you guys are in the Discord, because I know you are Clockwalk. I know Clockwalk it is. I know some of the rest of you might be. You can always, if you really want me to stream about a thing, you can say, "Hey, you haven't done a stream on the Space 1889 for a while. Can we do another one of those?" And I will often say yes. And if you watch long enough and accrue enough channel points, you can demand that I do a video on pretty much anything. I think I have veto power, but like unless it's like Nazi porn or something ridiculous like that, I pretty much am chill with anything. And so, I don't know if it's anything erotica, we'd have to have warning labels and stuff. But, you know, I'm up for pretty much any, like, fandom. Like, someone suggested Pokemon one time. We have a lot of Warhammer Fantasy because Zig's way into it and used to watch all the time. Still pops into the Discord fairly regularly, but doesn't necessarily watch now. But accrued gajillion panel points and made me do so much Warhammer Fantasy, which is a lot of fun. Um, but yeah, that is fun fact about that. So it's a channel point reward if you guys want. I think Clock might be the only person in, which hi if you are. It's fine. I may have even left the chat, but you know, let's see. Okay, what was I going to do? I was going to do other thing. Oh, and he's probably also doing last minute captioning, which I was supposed to be helping with, but I had no sleep last night, so I had like important grown up stuff I was supposed to be doing today. So, which wasn't just cooking, but also like bills and stuff. So, um, yeah. Last night I was gonna okay, I'll lie down for 20 minutes and then I'll assess if I feel like doing, and then I just 8 hours later it's like nope. Okay, my body decided sleep was what assessment was. That's the thing about. Never mind. Okay. Yes. Oh, it has 2 weeks of supplies. So and will run is viable enough to run um, power grapnel. So it doesn't have a grapnel hook, and it doesn't have any kind of observatory. So can't get any data gathering, but you can run it. It has enough like engine and navigation that you can sort of run it at half speed if you need to escape. Is that and it even has air, so that's pretty cool. And 2 weeks of supplies. According to the logs, Trailblazer was an independent craft built by Ironclad Manufacturing Company. The ship's logs show the Trailblazer was working from Mars for the last 8 years, run by a Martian crew. I'm guessing Martian as in humans who live on Mars and not any kind of aliens, but I don't know for sure on the space. But Earth, Mars does have human inhabitants who regularly connect with Earth and have a cities and stuff. Because you can start your journey from Mars, and it takes it's like 2 weeks from Mars than earlier that. So, and this crew flew out of Mars regularly, independent crew. The manufacturing company was the one who made it, but it was an independent crew just running from Mars. The logs end abruptly, but physical evidence supports that the ship had an unfortunate run-in with the Ripper and ended up towed here. Okay, so it's if the crew needs a vessel, the Trailblazer serves as a good means of escape. If not, she can be looted for one of ether component or physical component. One ether component and one physical component. So there's probably a system of ship repair that you can get components still from the Trailblazer. Um, the Deeper Tunnel system is used by a sparse population of Cenoites. Right, so this is back if you go down and are going through the tunnels as opposed to fighting your way through the boneyard. If you go to the tunnels, there's the Cenoites who are living there. That's the thing about a multipath adventure is jumping around a little bit. Collect ice or secretion that form on the membranes over various entrances. They also do odd jobs for Sovereign to keep the alliance with the machines intact. If the explorers want to creep through the tunnels without alerting any wandering Cenoites to their presence, it is a daunting trespass mission. If they want to reach the observatory for factory on the lower levels, hopeless if they want to explore. It's a okay. So sneaking through the tunnels is daunting trespass mission. If they want to, it's the hopeless if they want to explore the Cenoite chambers directly. So it's you basically it's 30 something. I would guess hopeless would mean like 40 like 30 DC and a series of super hard checks that you would have to roll all nat 20s on or something to do. Whereas daunting is just really hard checks but doable. So hard checks, daunting, presumably in 1889 after or like main 5e conversion of the system, they have like rules on exactly what daunting means in terms of mechanics. But okay, if they want to explore the Cenoite chambers directly, failure or intentionally seeking out Cenoites results in an encounter with Cenoite blue shells, unit of 5. And they move forward menacingly and grapple the crew unless they fight back. They bind their prisoners and haul them. Yeah. So if the crew just kind of goes with it, they'll be taken prisoner. They'll still be bound. I guess if you had a very persuasive charisma character who might convince them not to bind them, but that would be a difficult check, I would imagine. Yeah, if the crew fights back, they need to try to subdue them as best they can and do the same. So it's basically, can you win the fight? After the first exchange, Drysagor appears on the scene with reinforcements himself. Oh, so Drysagor said him and her. I mean, okay, so multi-pronoun. 2 more units of 5 and yells for his workers to halt their attack unless the intruders decide to keep battling it out. Okay, so yeah, he'll tell the workers to stop, and then if you stop, they'll stop, and we can have a civilized conversation. If not, that. So, okay, so Drysagor either, whoever's writing it, mixed up either error or Drysagor uses multiple pronouns, which, both he and she is fairly, I don't know about common pronouns set, but I've met people who go by one or both, mix and match. Comical gentlewoman. Hi. Yes, I will tell you, I do not buy viewers. It's a hopeless case, but you are welcome to hang out in the stream if you want. I generally don't kick you out because it's not against the rules of chat, which is basically don't send links to viruses and no direct click links to virus. I don't even know if that's a rule. Basically, rules don't be a homophobic asshole or racist. I think that's the one. I'm pretty sure it's racism and homophobia are the big ones that they say no, be polite, and stuff. I think that's the basic rules, which are pretty chill. But I did actually have to kick one guy out for being a homophobic asshole. in Arabic no less. And I was like, hang on a second, let me actually translate what this is. I was like, oh, hell no, you are out of here. Fun fact. Um, but, uh, yeah, anyway. Um, basically, I don't know if you're a bot or an actual paid show. If you are a show, I'm just going to tell you right now it's not going to happen, but you can come and hang out anyway. Alright, back to the thing. Um, if the crew are captured or don't resist and brought to Dresagor, they get a good look at the blue shell hive, bustling in the heart of Aethra. There are several hundred of the creatures here, gathering fungus, tending egg clutches, and scurrying down darkened tunnels on strange errands. Alright, egg clutches means that they are an egg-laying species. Interesting. How am I gonna say? Egg-laying species. Oh, right. Um, so the egg-laying. Oh, right. So you can, if you stumble into their chambers directly without hitting them, um, you can do that. But if you, that's what they describe it there with the. Now, if you hit them other places, they're going to subdue you and drag you to the chambers. The center of the hive. Um, Choline tries to explain using choline, so that's the language they're speaking. Um, um, uh, yeah, if any of them speak choline, they can do that. If they don't speak choline, that's interesting. But we exist. I do not know how it came to be here. Those memories may still exist for Hive to hatch into an envoy, but I was hatched only with how we are now. Now we serve at the whim of the mind of the sovereign and the elder machine who rules this world. If we obey and remain useful, we continue to exist. If we disobey, we become a threat to it and we no longer exist. My intention is simple, that my people continue to exist. Makes sense. To ensure our continued collaboration, I believe I must turn you over to the machine and let it decide your fates. Do you have words for me? This is... Hey, this is the point where if you have a very charismatic category, sorry, they can say, hey, let's overthrow it and work together on that. And if you don't, you kind of have to figure something else out. But, like, alright, first let the group play out any conversation. He answers openly and honestly everything else about Sovereign, Observer 1, and Layout of Aethra. He can only answer things about he's seen on his own lifetime. If the Hive has records of any kind, they are either gone or in the Sovereign hands. So he only knows about stuff he's seen, and he only knows. Well, if I work for the computer, a computer will kill us if we stop working for it. But knows all the things and is not going to lie about it. That's actually pretty cool. Alright, give me another 30 seconds to fix the thing, and then we can stream for a little longer. I'm back. Okay, so I do have day job coming up, but I skipped to the end of this section because I feel like it's cool. Maybe even the end of this session. Alright. After the crew has made any arguments about their fate, roll a mission to see how persuasive their statements are. Persuasion is on the appropriate skill, but charisma or intelligence is the appropriate ability score modifier, depending on the nature of the crew's argument. So, yes, you get an option persuasion, but you can use intelligence. If you have persuasion, yeah, you can use intelligence instead of charisma, depending on how you argue it. And that's what I was talking about, right? On a critical failure, Isengard doubts the honesty of what visitors are saying, and difficulty increases by 1. If this makes it to mission beyond hopeless, it immediately fails. So mission is basically a series of checks. And that makes sense. Mission is probably, it's a series of checks of, there's some glass of how that works. And you need to pass a certain number. And then this one, if you fail, it goes up by 1, and if it gets hopeless, you're host. as the Canadians might say. Okay. I think that's a Canadian thing. Success convinces Rhaestogor to let the explorers go and at least remain neutral in any confrontation with the sovereign. The sexy offers some fungus to eat. Oh. And study. Rank success of 5 or more over the DC, he sends one of the units of troops to help fight the Ancient Death Machine, plus an additional Cenoate for each point the crew rolled over the Persuasion DC. Okay. So... And automatically, because it's only if they're 5 over. And then more, even. Okay. So if you have, hey, let's fight the machine together. Wrangler just has to, like, okay, I'm gonna let you go. I'm not gonna tell him about you, but you're on your own. And if you succeed more than 5 past the DC, he'll help you out. That's actually kind of cool. So Knights help it, if the Knights help, it only takes 2 stagger or stun to cause attrition, and only 2 wounds or injuries to cause damage, thanks to the help. All the help. In addition, the first time one member of a crew is hit by the monster's death ray, a Senate worker sacrifices itself and gets hit. Oh, such an act of rebellion has dire consequences. If the sovereign isn't defeated, the death of the entire hive is inevitable. Oh, so if you convince them to be on your side and one of you is going to die and they will jump in to save you, and if you do not defeat the sovereign, they all... Wow, okay. So now it becomes responsibility because their entire lifetime is, dependent on you. Gaining the trust of the Senates provided a powerful ally in the confrontation to come. Yeah, that's... But a lot of because, like, if you screw up the fight and they helped you, they're all going to... Wow, okay. You have their entire fate resting on your shoulder. If not, but you can succeed at just, we're staying out of this. We'll keep quiet and pretend we didn't see you, but you're on your own. Okay. Help from Rhaestogor, or stealthy exploration of the Senate chambers, uncovers one of the treasures of Aethra. A mysterious fungus that provides light, sustenance, and even extra oxygen without needing sunlight at all. Its secret is it manages to draw energy directly from the Aether itself. Right, we talked about this. The crew can't eat it. Can eat it to temporarily stave off any hunger, but the relief is only temporary for anyone other than the Cenoites. So, it doesn't actually provide any kind of nutrition. It's probably like grass or something where you get some calories out of it, and it makes you feel less hungry, but it doesn't really, like, have the nutrients you need to stave off. Or, it's like only eating it's, yeah. It's baseline. It doesn't have the nutrients actual humans need long term. But it's good for the Cenoites. And it does take down the hunger pegs. A greenhouse with the fungus can support as many additional Cenoites as the crew without any roll at all, or double that with a roll. An inventor may be able to use the fungus as either biology or ether component. Alright, so if you have someone on hand who can, science at it, you can actually do stuff with it. A character with proficiency in medicine or chemistry can see even more exciting if long-term use for this stuff. It's completely unknown type, which means the character may name it if samples are returned to Earth. If the character names the fungus after herself and creates a patent which uses it, this counts as a goal, perhaps even a discovery for the character's story. Oh. So you get bonus story arc points if you bring a sample back and name it after yourself. That's kind of cool, actually. Opportunities. Tonight, fungus provides food for hungry explorers. Fungus may be used as biology component in an invention and may be named as the botanist desires. That's true. If you the first person to bring a sample back to Earth, you get to name it. Wow. Which is pretty cool. That's really seeking data. Okay, so this is if they don't run into the Cenoites and get dragged before Desigar, they might go to the Dormitory. Limit for friendly for Aethra, mechanical man who hails them in Coline. He can speak every Martian language. So I'm guessing Coline is that's what the Sovereign uses, so it's probably a computer-based... Which means probably one of the crew only speak it, but doesn't know any Earth or Venus's tongues yet. Ooh, there's other people on Venus. They probably are native Martians, but have Earth language, so they don't speak English. Coline is developed on Mars, which makes sense that settlers living on Mars would develop other languages, even if they were human originally. So any come from Mars directly, like Coline, which apparently is the one the computer speaks, and the ones the Cenoites speak. So okay, but doesn't know any of Earth's or Venus's tongues yet, so he doesn't speak English. He's keen to learn and offers to exchange information with anyone who can provide fundamentals and a book or two. Observer 1 introduces himself and explains his role. We have dialogue. Greetings, visitors. I'm Observer 1, Owen for short. It is my task to operate the telescopes and collect data for Sovereign 1, the intelligence who controls this fragment. He's an eccentric ruler and not keen on guests. Unfortunately, he probably won't allow you to leave here alive. But while you are here, we should make the best of it. I have many questions about the inner world, which I can't glean from my scopes. You could provide so much data before your unfortunate but inevitable demise. Sorry. He is a fun one. Owen has nothing against explorers, but he admits that eventually he must report their presence to Sovereign, and once he does, the asteroid's ruler is sure to dispatch his war machine and blue shells to hunt them down. Whether the order comes from madness or a zealous sense of security is beyond Owen's ability to say. So why he insists on murdering everyone who comes on board is Owen doesn't know. It doesn't matter. No one on Aethra can afford to cross Sovereign 1, because the AI controls the environmentals and everything on it, so, okay. Trigger-happy explorers might destroy or scare off Observer 1 before he can share his information. The characters can find magnetic disc readers and fill in the gaps themselves with a bit of time and study, or intuit some of the information based on the present preset controls of the telescope, which correspond to Mars, Luna, Earth, Venus, Mercury, and Vulcan, respectively. Let's see. If the group plays for time and keeps Owen talking, he's happy to delay sending his report. He's hungry for more information about the events he glimpses through his telescopes and catches reference to captured materials brought in by the mechanical pirates. He's especially keen to understand which nations are on which continent and which one each of the explorers thinks is superior, and why. So which country is the bestest? Which countries are where? Because he has some information from the discs of mentioning different countries, like, okay, but which one's where, and which one do you think is the best? That is an interesting question. But, I mean, he doesn't know anything. It's interesting, indeed. Okay. He's also curious about Luna. Up until about 5 years ago, semi-regular transmissions of green light came from the dark side of Earth's moon and beamed toward Jupiter. Now that stopped, he wonders if the humans of Earth stopped it on purpose. They didn't. Or if the drobates know what it was for and why they stopped it. And why it stopped. They don't. Oh. The current location of Vulcan is especially notable here. It narrows the location of the mysterious planet to a single hex on the orbital map, where it orbits like every other planet. It also shows that Vulcan is slightly higher than the orbital plane. Ooh, interesting. So it has Vulcan, I presume, is another planet, maybe with its own people. Okay. That is also something probably in the more supplemental materials. Exchanging information, anything the group can tell him. Just the facts that the green light on Luna were tied to some way to the Jupiter's surprising information. He can clarify even further. There are forces who rule this entire solar system, the Phaetons. I know little of them personally, but Sovereign served them in their day. They meddled with planets and warred with each other, and outsiders called the Worm, until the Phaeton itself was destroyed. This rock you call Aethra was once a piece of Phaeton, and some of their servants, like Sovereign and the Cenoites, still survive here. Sovereign lives in perpetual fear that they will return. The Sleepers, he calls them. His name, his entire identity is built around never being controlled by this cruel former masters again. Of course, that makes him a cruel master himself, but I suppose that is the way of things. He worries the green light stopping is a signal that the Sleepers have awakened, and has me watch Vulcan carefully. I think he's mad personally, but he's the one in charge. And can confirm that Aethra has 3 ether flyers, the Ripper, and another similar vessel called the Trespasser, prowl closer to Mars, gather supplies for the Factor and functional mechanical men, if they can find them. The Superbolt patrols around Aethra, ambushing the explorer craft who get close or chase the Ripper or the Trespasser back. There's only 1 Sovereign and 1 Observer, but there are 8 Marauder units, independent commanders, on each of the ships. 2 here, and 3... okay, so there are 8 Marauder units on each of the ships, 2 here and 3 that were lost over time. So 8, 9, 10, 13. He can confirm that the Sovereign's consciousness is within the factory itself, but he has a powerful death machine under direct control. Other pockets of Aethra are Cenoites, known here as blue shells because of their distinctive exoskeleton. Owen notes that, like the machines, they were once served the Phaetons. They have no record or memory of this time. They know only that gets encoded in the fluid in their eggs. Only the unique envoy can truly learn and understand, and the current envoy Dreisegor knows only Aethra as it is now. The Cenoite service factory and are docile, which is the only reason Sovereign has suffered them to live. Okay. Alright, he won't initiate conflict. And if you try to fight him, he's gonna try to run, and then it's a chase mission. Okay. Alright. Cenoites. Okay, so if you run into him before the Cenoites, they'll come and show him up and back him up in fighting if he tries to run and you try to chase him, and if you don't kill him off in a round, the Cenoites will show up. And they might try to get to Draskar, and then that might be enough that way. Okay. Yeah, so if you stop talking and he's gonna have to report Sovereign, you can stall him until he reports Sovereign, and then you're gonna have to fight him or something. You can't talk him out of it. Alright. It is 1:42. I need to be on my way to day job. But I very much have enjoyed hanging out with you guys and doing more 1889 stuff. 1889 is fun. So we're gonna have to do another one, I guess, next week. I'm gonna be streaming next week, Tuesday or Thursday. Definitely, and then maybe definitely Tuesday or Thursday, maybe both. No, Thursday next week is Christmas. So Tuesday of next week we're doing this. Wednesday of next week is Greyhawk. It's gonna be Christmas Eve, but I have to go to work afterwards, so we're gonna do Greyhawk. I might as well hang out and do Greyhawk Christmas Eve stream. If you have, if you're off the afternoon of Christmas Eve and have nothing better to do, come see my stream in Greyhawk. It's gonna be fun. If you want to spend time with family instead, I completely understand, but I can't, so we're doing stream stuff. Yeah, and then Thursday's Christmas, and I will be probably religious, definitely family stuff. I'm going to be leaving for 4 a.m. on Thursday and traveling through there, so that's fun. That's about it. Thank you so much for hanging out with me. I'm going to rate us into someone fun. Who, you might ask? Well, we did Stevie Streamer last time, and a lot of you were not so keen on that, so why don't we do someone else today? Raid channel. Okay. Someone fun. So Steamy's on, but we're gonna raid someone. We could do Tiger. We raided Tiger yesterday. Got lobby. Oh, the cute Japanese cats are on. Yeah, let's do the cute. Okay, so basically, there's an animal shelter in Japan. Then they just do live cam footage of the cats, and they're adorable. So we're gonna raid in. It's automated. I don't know, and it's so they're probably not gonna do anything in chat, but they're fun and they're cute. So let's go raid into cute thing, and I will see you all later. Yep, we're raiding into cute cats. Take care of yourselves, everyone. Yeah, take care of yourselves. Remember, rest, beds, hydrate, all that good stuff. Tomesmas is coming up, so that'll be fun. And yeah, it's adorable kittens. Meow. Okay. Yep, we're gonna raid the cat shelter with the pictures of the cute cats. So, peace out. Love you all. Peace out. Take care of yourselves. All that jazz.